Black people are so scarce that me as a black person, when I'm in transit, when I'm out and I'm just walking around or going somewhere, when I see a black person, I can't help but also stare at them. If you have plans to relocate to the Czech Republic, then this video might just be for you. Hello, my name is Evelyn and welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I'm going to be talking about the 5 things that I wish I knew before moving to Czech Republic. So if this is your first time coming here, I would like to say thank you and please do not hesitate to subscribe, as it really motivates me to do more on this channel. And if you are a returning subscriber, I would like to say thank you for subscribing and for coming back. So without further ado, let's head on to the topic for today. So for context, I recently moved to the Czech Republic to join my husband, and I've been here for approximately 4 months now. My husband has been living and working here for over 2 years now, and honestly, I would like to talk about this because if I had known some of the things that I know now before coming here, I just feel like for a fact life would have been easier in the Czech Republic. So number 1 on my list is not being able to work with a family reunification visa. So before coming, I knew this, but at the same time, I was told that I would be able to apply to a company who would in turn be able to apply for a work card on my behalf at the Ministry of Interior. And that has not been the case. Since I have been here, I have applied to several companies, and most times they call me back for like a phone conversation so they can schedule me for an interview. And when they find out that I have a family reunification visa, they just tell me, we're sorry, we cannot proceed with you because it goes against the rules and regulation here in Czech Republic. So some companies will tell me, when you do get your work visa, you can come back and would happily be able to proceed with you. But for now, the law is you cannot work right now with this your family reunification visa. And honestly, not being able to work has really taken a toll on me, because for starters, I did my master's in Nigeria, and as part of my master's I had to undergo a 6-month internship. And even after the internship, the company that I had worked with, which was the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture in Ibadan, were so impressed with my internship that they were willing to offer me a job. But I couldn't take the job because I knew that I was going to relocate in a few months. And then sadly, that did not happen. My relocation that was supposed to happen in July had to happen in October. So I was just home, idle, doing nothing. And I was just consoling myself with the fact that don't worry, when you get to Czech, you'll be able to work. But that has not been the case. For some people, it might not be an issue because some might just decide to be like a stay-at-home wife. But for me, I honestly do prefer to work because working just makes me happy. It makes me feel like I'm accomplishing milestones, I'm advancing in my career, and I'm making a difference one way or the other. And having had my master's degree recently and not being able to put it to work just makes me feel frustrated and tired. But anyway, I just thank God for the fact that my family reunification visa is almost expired, and I've already started the process of applying for my residency permit, and by God's grace it will be out soon, and hopefully I'll be able to use that to work. But in the meantime, I was able to locate a non-profit organization, and I go there once or twice a week because the policies about not being able to work if you have a family reunification visa does not apply to this non-profit, I guess. So it has been really amazing. So if you're someone who have plans to come here specifically on a family reunification visa, just be prepared and be ready. Just know that you would not be able to work with your family reunification visa. But if you have like a work visa or a student visa, you're good to go. So for me, if I had known this earlier, I definitely would have gotten an online job, or I would have just been able to like find something to do before coming here. And the reason why I didn't get an online job was because I was so sure that I was gonna get a job that would require me to go to the office once a while. Because for me, I like to go out, interact with people, because it just helps my mental health and my physical well-being entirely. It helps me exercise and it makes me more productive. So I just wish I knew this beforehand. So number 2 is the cold weather. So coming from Nigeria that is very warm, I honestly did not expect the kind of cold that I was going to face coming to the Czech Republic. Before coming, I knew that Europe is actually very cold. I knew that it snows here, but I was of the opinion that I would be able to find my way around it. I'll be able to layer clothes and I would feel warm, but that was not the case. When I came, the weather was literally 10 degrees, and there are times when I would go out and I'll be shivering, like I'll be so cold. I literally would not be able to go out on some days just because of how cold the weather was. And I wasn't really prepared for this because my husband is someone who enjoys cold weather, and he doesn't even see 10 degrees being a weather that is extremely cold. He was of the opinion that I would be able to pull through and I would get used to it, but that was not the case. So good. I've been able to go online on YouTube and TikTok specifically, and I made research about clothes that keeps you warm during the winter, and I was able to find a brand specifically called Uniqlo. So Uniqlo has like heat-tech clothes. I don't know what the clothes are made of specifically, but they are heat-tech outfits that keep you warm. So I'm just going to be inserting a clip of the items that I bought. I basically got a sweatpants that is heat-tech. I got same for a leggings. I got their turtleneck. So I just wear these clothes as an inner before layering with my outing clothes, and it just keeps me warm. So if you're someone who is not really used to a cold weather, and you know that you might find the weather being too cold as an issue for you, then you might want to invest in this either before coming or as soon as you get to Europe, because it gets very cold here. There are times when it gets to -1, -2, -3. When I came here, when it's 10 degrees, I would be feeling extremely cold, but with these heated clothing, I can literally go out when it's 1 degrees, when it's -2, -3, and I feel extremely warm. Although when I stay outside in the cold for too long, I begin to feel extremely cold. But also, if you're someone who has money, you can invest in jackets like Canada Goose, Columbia, or North Face. This jacket that I just mentioned will keep you extremely warm, but for me, I don't think I need them now because I'm not yet making bank and I don't really go out, so I'll just stick to my Uniqlo. But definitely when I start making bank and when I start working, I definitely will invest in this outfit for a fact. So yeah, so investing in heated clothing are not enough. When coming, if you're someone like me who gets cold during cold weather, who gets extremely cold, then you might want to bring baggy clothes along, meaning you might want to come with baggy jeans, palazzo trouser, and when you're buying sweaters or hoodies, you might want to size up just so you can easily layer clothes within, just so you don't feel extremely tight when you wear your clothes on this heated outfit. So another thing you want to invest in is buying quality sneakers, and this is something that I did without even knowing how cold the weather here would be. And the sneakers that works for me is New Balance and sometimes my Nike sneakers. Here sneakers are extremely expensive, especially sneakers that would keep your feet warm. They are very expensive. I can remember buying one sneakers that wasn't even all that, this normal All-Star sneakers, and it's not even for winter, it's mostly for summer, and I bought it for over 200k. But before coming in Nigeria, specifically in Lagos Island, I was able to get my shoes for like 40,000-50,000 naira, and those shoes really have come in handy. And I have even gone to stores to compare, and basically it's the same thing. So these people buy these shoes from China, and Nike stores and these other shoe stores, they equally have their factories in China. So for me, I think it's the same thing. You might disagree, but when you're coming, just invest in high quality shoes that would keep your feet warm during the cold season. So the next thing that I wish I knew before coming here is the cultural adjustment in terms of food and how expensive African food can be. So there's one thing finding African food, and there is another thing finding affordable African food. The African dishes here are not just scarce, they are equally expensive, and sometimes you pay expensive prices for these things and you get home and you find out that the foods are not even fresh. Like for instance, I have gone to African stores severally, I have bought yam and then I'll bring back the yam and the yam is not even fresh. Part of the yam is bad. And let's say you're buying things that the Czech people here do eat, like if you're buying chips, it's literally the same price as it is in Nigeria. If you're buying chicken, it's almost the same as the price in Nigeria. So things that they eat here are actually affordable. But you see, African foodstuffs, are very expensive, and I understand because they import these things from African countries, and importing from Africa to Europe is actually very expensive. Before coming here, that was last year, beginning of last year, before things even became as expensive as they are now, because inflation has been on the high recently. I just don't know why. Before coming here, I sent a document to my husband to translate, and it was just like a page document, and I spent over 100,000 naira in shipping that document via DHL logistics. So if one piece of paper could cost me over 100,000 naira to ship, how much would it cost me to ship foodstuffs from Nigeria to this place? Definitely it will cost a kidney in the black market. So I don't even think it's visible asking your family or friends to buy foodstuffs and send to the Czech Republic. So you have no choice but to buy here. And as you're buying here, just know that most times you might not even get, because it's been over 2 weeks. I've been looking for yam to buy because I've been craving it. I haven't been able to find. The ones I've been seeing are visibly bad, and they're selling for an expensive price. You want to buy yam, they are calling 15k and above, and this yam you eat it twice and it's gone. So when coming here, just prepare your mind. Just know that you might not have the luxury of eating the things that you are used to eating in Africa. You might have to adjust. Since I came here, the things that I've been eating for breakfast is always chips, because chips is actually very common here. It's very affordable and very easy to get. And I eat rice and stew mostly, because you have tomatoes everywhere. They equally eat rice here, so it's quite affordable and you can easily go to any store and buy it. But for other African dishes, just do not get your hopes high, because the likelihood of finding these stuffs are very, very scarce. You spend more, and at the same time you might not even get quality for that price that you spend, and the thing that you have to spend so much money. So just prepare your mind that you might just have to adjust to eating food that are more on the western side. So if you're used to eating soups, swallow, all that, just keep that aside. Since I came, the only soup that I've had the opportunity to eat is okra, honestly, and that's because Indians eat okra. So when you go to most African stores, you find it there. I've not had a gusi, I've not had a pho, or basically any Nigerian soup apart from okra or even swallow. The only swallow I've had since I've been here is eba. So for you it might be different. It could be that I haven't really found the stores that they do sell these things, because like I said, I've been here for approximately 4 months. I've not even clocked 4 months, so who knows, maybe along the line I might find. But when coming, just prepare your mind that you might not have the luxury of shipping African foodstuffs here, and you might not have the luxury of getting the things that you're used to. Another thing that I wish I knew before coming here was the language barrier. Honestly, I knew ahead of time that people here speak Czech, but I was of the opinion that since I was coming to Prague, which is the capital of Czech Republic, where you have so many tourists, so many immigrants, I was of the opinion that I would find people who speak English. But that's not the case. In some places, you can find people that speak English, especially when you go to stores like Zara, H&M, Sephora. Like the last time I went to Sephora, everybody that works in Sephora can speak English, and this is because they are international brands. So I guess English for them is a criteria, because like I said, Prague is like a tourist city since it's the capital of Czech Republic. So you see so many visitors, tourists, and also it just makes sense that this international brand would have people who speak English so they can better attend to customers. But when you go to supermarkets, when you go to some government agencies, there are some places you go to and they'll tell you that you should bring a translator that can speak both English and Czech so they can translate for you. Especially when you go to the police station, when you come into the country, you might be lucky, you might meet somebody that speaks English. But the thing is, you find most elderly people who can't speak English. Most people that can speak English are teenagers and kids. So just know that coming here, Google Translate will become your best friend, especially when you're going to the malls to buy something, because you might need something and you might want to walk up to a staff and they'll tell you no English, no English. So just be ready, and just know that people don't speak English here like the way they do in other countries. Like in France, they speak English like in Paris, but here that is not the case. So the fifth and final thing that I wish I knew before coming here is that black people are extremely scarce. Like, black people are so scarce that when you're in transit or when you're out, you would find kids staring at you. You will find older people staring at you, especially Czech citizens who are extremely old and Czech citizens who are kids. I guess probably they don't get to see so many blacks, so they can't help but stare, and that's very annoying and it irritates me sometimes, because sometimes you look at them and they're looking at you like eyeball to eyeball, staring at you in disbelief, like, is this a black person? And to an extent, some officials can be biased towards you just because you're black. Like, one thing that I do experience that I do not like that happens to me just because I'm black is the fact that I can be in a hurry going to catch a bus, and there are these Czech officers who are in charge of checking tickets. They call them ticket officers basically, and then people could be passing. They would not stop Czech citizens, they won't stop people who are white from other countries, but once they see a black person, they're like, okay, fine, this person is an immigrant, person most likely would not have a ticket, so they are approaching you to ask for your ticket. You know, when you're in a hurry, you have to stop, you have to bring out your phone, check, show them, they have to validate it to be sure that your ticket is authentic, and this just annoys me. It provokes me, because the only reason why you're stopping me is because I'm black. You don't stop other people until you see me and you're like, okay, fine, let me stop these white people in front of me, or let me just stop you only just to be sure you have a ticket. And I feel like that is really unfair, and in a way I feel like that's discrimination. But on the other hand, I feel like saying they discriminate is like extreme, because that's the only experience that I've had here that just makes me feel uncomfortable being a black person. Black people are so scarce that me as a black person, when I'm in transit, when I'm out and I'm just walking around or going to me, when I see a black person, I can't help but also stare at them. And whenever I see a black person, I'm always smiling, I'm always happy, because you don't get to see black people so often here. Like, I was out yesterday, I went to a really far distance and I saw not one black person. Like, I did not see a black person throughout yesterday. The only black person I saw apart from myself was my husband when I came home. Sometimes you'll be out and probably you're trying to navigate your way. Maybe you don't know where you're headed to, and a black person could literally approach you and be like, hey, do you need any help? Where are you going to? So whenever you see a black person, they're always very nice. They're always like smiling towards you because they're happy. And you can tell it's because they haven't really seen another black person, because black people are really scarce. Like, the other day, and my husband were inside a tram coming from somewhere, and this guy who was obviously a tourist got into the tram, and when he saw us, he was so happy. He was like, brother, how are you? He was so happy, he was so excited. And honestly, I wish there were more black people like they are in France, because I was in Paris and Paris has so many black people. I was also in Vienna. Vienna has a reasonable amount of black people, although not like Paris, but here in Czech Republic, black people are very, very scarce. In fact, out of 100 person you see, you're likely to see no black people, or in some cases 1 or 2 black persons. That's to tell you how blacks are scarce here. So when coming here, just prepare your mind, because the first time I got here, I did not know this. So when I got into town, I was just surrounded by white people. I felt really, really uncomfortable. I didn't feel at ease, because it just felt like I was surrounded by people whom I was just uncomfortable. So when coming to Czech, just be ready, just zero your mind. Just know for a fact that the likelihood of you seeing black people are very scarce, and it might really affect you if you're someone who's coming here alone. If you don't have like a partner, if you don't have friends, you might really be lonely. But with time, you get over it, because for me, one thing that I do is I go to church, I attend a non-profit organization. Although there are still no black persons in this non-profit, but in church there are so many black people. I try to go for fellowship just to interact with people, just to keep my sanity. And also, you find that in Czech there are people from different countries, different culture, and then you just find you interact with them, and you would end up feeling less lonely, I guess. But this is just a cultural shock, something that I wish I knew before coming here. So these are all the things that I wish I knew before coming to the Czech Republic. Honestly, had I known, I would have been emotionally, financially and mentally prepared. But nevertheless, I've been trying to find my way around it, and by God's grace, I've been making progress. Now, if you did find this video helpful, please don't hesitate to like. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and please leave a comment below the video telling me what you liked about the video. Or you can also note down your tips if you're someone who is already living in the Czech Republic. And if by any chance you know anyone that is moving to the Czech Republic, either on a family unification visa or a school or work visa, you might want to share this video with them as well. So I hope to see you in my next one. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.